Yo.
Welcome, welcome. We are doing another beautiful day of co-working here today. In Italy, we have the sun. We're not going to be going for too long today, but we're going to get a couple hours of work done, get some things done. I'm not sure entirely what I'm doing. I have some editing to do. I have some art to photograph. I have some business stuff to do. I don't know. I just have a bunch of random things to do. So we're going to dive in and kind of do a little bit of everything. So hopefully you've got lots of work to do as well. And yeah, if you like co-working streams, my name's Natasha. We do co-working, art, fashion design, lots of creative stuff. And give a like, give a follow, give a subscribe, whatever it is where you're watching, and enjoy. We're gonna start the timer off and do some Pomodoros today. All right, 45 minutes on the clock. I'm gonna put the mic on mute and we're gonna dive right into work, but I'll be checking the chat, so let's give it a go.
Yo.
Alright, it's Great Caseconus. How's it going? Looks like a nice day. It is a beautiful day here. It is really, really pleasant. And it's like warm, it's not too windy. I hope life has been and continues to be fair to you as well. I hope you're having a good day. It is going well. Excellent, excellent. What are you up to today? I've been getting some editing done, so that's really good. And now I'm fighting with KDP printing again, but I've been getting it done, so that's excellent. So I'm getting a little bit of stuff achieved today. It's 5:17 a.m. and you couldn't sleep, so here you are. Hey, you know, if it works, it works. You're welcome always to hang out, even if it's because you can't sleep. An early start to the day is never a bad thing. So you got a little bit of sleep, hopefully? Yeah, you like it when the city is asleep and things are quiet. Yeah, it's nice when it kind of feels peaceful and chill. 9 p.m. to 4:30 a.m. Yeah, that's it'll do. That seems like it's at least a little bit of sleep. You got to bed early at least. I got my little pistachio cannoli. I got this from the bakery yesterday and forgot to eat it, so I'm not eating it now. So good. From where you are, it looks like birdseed. It's covered in little pistachio nuts, so yep. I put out pistachios for the birds sometimes here, so they do like it. haven't put down any birdseed yet today. I actually should have done that 'cause while I'm sitting here, it's nice to theoretically have them come visit while I'm here. You used to feed birds once upon a time? Yeah, I'm trying to... We have beautiful green parrots here. And we... Ooh, hey, it's birdseed. We have beautiful green parrots here, and we also have these beautiful crows that are really friendly. So... But I'm really trying to attract the pretty green parrots, these little ring-necked parakeets. Because I see them, but they never come to my balcony. Well, they come once or twice, but not very frequently. You get a townhouse with a nice deck. Oh, that sounds lovely. I'm gonna go put some of the seed out. Be right back. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know if that crow shows up on the microphone, but there's a crow chattering away out there. Yeah, hey crow, come get some food. You can hear it? Yeah. You had 2 bird feeders mounted on the railing around the deck, so all kinds of birds came in. Downside is they poop everywhere. Yeah, that can be the problem if they start deciding that's what they were doing. I haven't had issues with that yet, so thankfully. Hi, you gonna come get some food? You gonna? Oh, and the blue jays, they're not nice birds. They picked on the others. Oh no. Yeah, I feel like jays can be a little aggressive. I remember always seeing jays when I lived in the interior of British Columbia. That was nice. They're very beautiful birds. You are chatty today. Come over here. Come get some seeds. The state you were born in and was living in, the state bird is the cardinal. Ooh. I don't know off the top of my head what that is, but I'm sure the internet could tell me. What state bird is the cardinal? Cool, let's find out. Let's research, investigate. Oh, it's the state bird of 7 different states: Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, North Carolina, Ohio, Virginia, and West Virginia. It's such a pretty bird. See, this is really annoying because the publication requirements for the hardcover books are a little bit larger than they tell you they are, and so you go through and submit the whole thing, and then they're like, no, actually that's not good enough, it has to be slightly larger. And I've done this before, and I've looked at my old files, and I went, why did I do them at 5.65 and 8.75? Why didn't I do them at 5.5 and 8.5? Well, because I already went through this, and they told me those numbers aren't good enough, and I have to do it at the other one, and so now I have to do it again. And these files are so huge because they're very graphics heavy, and so like they don't like saving, that I have to compress them. So I've got to go through, rechange the dimensions, resave the files, recompress the files, recombine those PDFs into one PDF, and then resubmit it to publishing. So that's what we're working on now. But we're getting it done. The males are bright red. Yeah, they're pretty. You like it when you get to see them. And not a fan of the words not good enough. Sounds like a fair bit of work. It's a decent bit of busy work because it's not anything that requires like brain. It's just resaving, waiting for things to compile, waiting for things to load, waiting for things to combine, and all of that stuff. So it just takes time because then I get distracted too because I'm like, okay, let that download, and then I start doing something else. I do editing, yeah. So if you know anyone who needs an editor for anything, I'm looking for new clients right now. So if you know anyone who's a writer, or we've talked about this before. Yeah. A writer, an academic, or a business owner who needs stuff posted. You did biometric research and worked on papers once upon a time. Yeah, a lot of my work is academic research papers. It is right now, at least. I'm trying to move away from it, but I'm also very experienced in it, so, it is what it is. Okay, it's 5.625 and 8.75. That should be correct. Let's go. Continue. Because the paperback published already, so just where the hardcover go. The hardcover is way nicer, way more expensive too. No, I don't want to resize existing design. I want to create a copy. Wow, Canva changed their copy function. Before it was so simple. If you put in change dimensions, the button that came up auto said copy and resize. And now, like, it does the same thing, but it's way more confusing. Like, this is bad design because now there's a button and it defaults to not clicked, which is good. So, but if you click the button, it says resize existing design without creating a copy. So just resize, right? Like resize the same file. And if you don't click that button, it's copy and resize. But the button you click used to say copy and resize. Now it just says resize. Like, why would you make it less clear? That's dumb, Canva. That's a bad decision choice. Right there. It was fun, but you don't think it was for you. You should have just been an accountant. You could have done that in your sleep. Right? I feel like there's a lot of things where if I just like done a really, I don't know, like one of the more obvious jobs for like 5 or 10 years, it could have been really good. And I think that we really need to push young people who aren't really sure what they want to do more into like those easy kind of like basic jobs for a while, because you don't have to do it forever. But if I'd done that for 10 years, I'd probably be like a lot more stable than I am right now. But I mean, who knows, maybe I would never have done it anyways. Are we software hating? Not software hating, because I love Canva. Canva's generally really great. I just think this current recent decision to change the text from copy and resize, which is clear, like that's very clear. The button you click says copy and resize. It doesn't say that anymore. It's just less clear. Finance, marketing, economics, accounting, graphic design. Could have done any of those on autopilot. Sometimes you don't like your degree. It's a little too broad. I don't like my degree at all. I don't regret it, but I mean, maybe I do. Like, I feel like I would, if I went back and did it again, I would do a different degree, 100%. So I guess if that qualifies as regret, then yeah. But yeah, I don't regret having my degree. I'm glad I have it, but I would definitely have done something different if I knew then what I know now. Because I feel like I work in like science editing right now, but like I don't use my degree. Like I don't use my degree at all in what I do, except randomly on certain papers, but you don't need it for like, you know, other people who have my job don't have my degree and they don't need it, right? So it's like, it's frustrating. But it's useful in general for science work, but yeah. Happier with a more defined job and role, yeah. Yeah, if you could go back and do it again, you'd go into the Air Force out of high school, do something tech related, and use your paid for education to get a degree in psychology. Well, yeah, Psychology is one of those ones that, yeah, if I'd wanted to do that right from the get-go, I could have seen that working out, but it's one of those things I often kind of think, I'm like, would I ever want to do that? Would I want to do that as a career? And then I'm like, I don't know. I feel like there's so much hassle to get into it. It's so interesting. Yeah, you enjoy people and helping them more than you think you enjoy IT. Fair enough, right? Like, I mean, and those are the exact opposite of the spectrum, right? Like a job which literally all about solving people's problems versus solving technology problems. Like those are the complete opposite spectrum. You did it for the job security and paycheck, but you find those really aren't what you want, right? It's so hard to decide like what your priorities are when you don't know yet. Like you have to experience it to find out. Yeah, tech's always been something you're interested in and good at, so you think you kind of just slid into something you knew you could ace. I mean, that's fair though, right? Like, because if you didn't have any like strong drive to do something else, then that's a good choice. Like, yeah, as long as it's working out, right? And it doesn't mean you have to stick with it forever. I'm a huge proponent of just changing your life path when you don't like what you're doing anymore. So if you don't like your job anymore, change it. You don't like where you're living, change it. You don't like your relationships, change something, right? Like, you know, yeah, if you don't feel a great deal of passion for it, but you think something else might, you know, be more interesting, you can always switch. But also, I mean, you can also always just have hobbies too, right? Like you can keep a stable job and then just add hobbies on to the side. Or start with hobbies and see if you kind of like it. Or start with like some small courses, like start with a psychology course, just, you know, online or something. And then, oh, do I like it? Okay, maybe more. It's definitely on your mind. You could certainly change the path. Gaming is the hobby. There you go. Okay, copied and resized. Good. Open, please. There we go. Yeah, it didn't. Oh, weird. Canva has absolutely changed that feature, because normally it auto opens that tab and now you have to actively tell it to, yes, please open the copied version. I would like to use the copied version now because that's why I started it. Canva, you so weird. You so good though. Good old Canva. Okay, I gotta download all these PDFs. Oh, man. You've had some psych courses and ethics courses and you enjoyed them. Okay, yeah, so you know you like them. You find people interesting and people's problems interesting. Self-reflection and trying to assess ourselves and what drives us interesting. Yes, exactly. I've just been, this past week, my friend and I have just been like really kind of psychologically deep diving to try to figure out kind of, because both of us are kind of at like turning points in our careers and stuff, and kind of being like, what do we want to do? Like, what do we want to focus on? How do we want to focus on getting there? What has been holding us back? Like, especially for me with ADD, it's like sometimes you decide you want to do something and then you just don't do it. And then it's like, okay, let's do some psychological work and try to figure out where the problem is and what to try next to try to make it happen. And it's like, okay, well, I'm going to try this. Did that help? Oh, it helped a little bit. Okay, let's keep going because it didn't fix the problem. What else could I try? What else could be the problem? And it's like all that psychological work where it's just like picking away at a problem and trying to uncover something that actually changes. Yeah, a lot of people have a penchant for chasing comfort, easy goals, and are consumption based. I mean, I think that's natural though, right? Like, we're animals, we're here to survive and reproduce and have a good time, and that's what our body and brains want to do, so why not? I also think it's great that a lot of humans really do want more than that and really do want to like learn and grow and change and give back and contribute and, you know, create new knowledge and new things and art and all that. I think that's great. But I think it's pretty reasonable for most people to just want to exist and enjoy their life, right? That's all we're here for. You know, no one knows any different, so You are not one of those. You think it's fantastic to put time into the planning and understanding parts. You're not an animal. Well, in public. Exist and enjoy. Yeah, a fair bit. Chase the lofty goals, right? Exactly. Yeah, I'm just trying to, for me, I'm trying to figure out what, really trying to figure out what it is, like, what am I afraid of? What's holding me back? Like, what's scary about this goal? Because something, if I'm not pursuing it, even though I decided to pursue it, something's holding me back. Like, something is scary, something is frightening, something is that problem. And I think it's just that whole kind of, where I'm currently at, my current theory is that it's just that whole kind of, like, social fear. It's that whole, like, putting yourself out there, and maybe people will laugh at you, and maybe people will think you're a failure, and maybe you will be a failure. And it's just kind of getting over that. And it's like, that's okay. Like, that's fine. You're not going to die just because you make a mistake. And it's like, oh, are you sure? And just kind of like coming to terms consciously with that, instead of being like, I'm fine, and then subconsciously being like, but I'm not doing it. Yeah, you think fears, real or not, are the greatest ball and chain in your life, right? Especially when you do the thing I do, which is that, like, I'm not afraid of anything. I don't have any fears. I do whatever I want. I'm brave and fine and totally chill. And it's like, okay, but I'm not doing that thing. So obviously something's there. Figuring out what they are. It's difficult to fail and or be afraid, even when you're smart enough to know they bring change, and change is how we change the path. Exactly. When you're like, I know what I need to do, don't know how to do it. You want more out of life? You gotta change something. Exactly, yeah. It's like, well, I want something different, but I don't want to do anything differently. It's like, well, I'm gonna do everything differently. And then it's like, but you don't. It's like, God damn it, I didn't do anything. Yeah, we do know how to do it, but we just aren't ready. And it's like, yeah, how do I get ready? How do I get there? Why aren't I ready? What's the difference? Because that's kind of my problem. It's like, I know all the steps I need to do. I know everything I need to be doing. And then it just doesn't happen. Which is so ADD, executive dysfunction kind of, like, but beyond that, to the level of where it's like, no, I can do any single step. So why am I not making these decisions? Helps a lot to have good support in your life. I agree 100%. You have the right people to stand by you and discuss things with and communicate. I think that makes a huge difference. Okay, so this is now the correct dimensions. But I need to do it in 2 different files so that it fits. We either make ourselves miserable or we make ourselves strong. The amount of work is the same. Ooh, I like that one. I might put it on my quote document and use it as a quote at some point. Read the question above it. Do you mean further back in the chat? The post I have above that one is, it helps a lot to have good support in your life. We either make ourselves miserable or we make ourselves strong. No, that did not come through. When you are old and look back in your life, what do you want to be able to say you did or see that you achieved to make you feel like you lived it well? Yes, exactly. What do you want to have done? Yeah, that's wild that just absolutely didn't go through. That's kind of vaguely concerning, like what else isn't going through? Yeah, it didn't show up on either my streaming program or on the website, like checking it through Twitch on the website. That's weird. So what's your answer? Hard questions, right? No, this is good. I like this stuff. What's your answer? I'll come up with one though. I want to be able to say that I worked my hardest, like I tried my best to achieve my goals, like to get where I wanted to get, like to do big things, to do exciting, grand things, to live the life I want to live, and to have been good to other people, like to have been good to my family and my friends and people I work with, and hopefully to have provided something inspirational to some part of the world, to some people out there. Hopefully something that people look at and go, this, I like this is beautiful, this inspires me. When you look back on life, you think service to others is your jam. You want to make sure the people who pass through your life enjoy you being a part of it. Yes, exactly. Like making a moment where, making that impact where you've affected other people in a positive way. I think that's the most important. You're not much for material things or fame and accolades. You don't thirst for much attention. You'd like to be able to sit and discuss things on a deeper level and ruminate on what we think the solutions and answers are to the trickiest of problems. Yes, I love doing that. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like when I was younger, I feel like when most people are younger, they want fame for fame's sake, right? And that got kind of, I don't know, that fell away very quickly for me. Like I find, like sometimes now people will be like, oh, this movie's so great. And I'm like, the main character has no goal except for wanting to be famous. Like that is their entire goal. Like it's like maybe they're an actor or a musician or something, like whatever. But like their goal has nothing to do with their craft. Their goal is to be famous. And like I can't even, like those movies drive me nuts. Like I can barely watch them because I can't relate to that that goal anymore. And I used to be able to. When I was a kid, I'm like, yeah, famous, that's amazing. And now it's just like, okay, but what else do you want to do? Like you just want people to look at you? That's it? It doesn't matter for what? Like I don't get it anymore. But I would love to have a broad impact, like to reach a lot of people. I would love for lots of people to appreciate something I'm doing. I would love for lots of people to get value out of something I'm doing. I would love for that. I would like to share things with a lot of people, as many people as possible, because I would like to be sharing things that people appreciate and enjoy and want. Yeah, and do it without arguing or being unpleasant when in disagreement. Absolutely agreed. I love arguments and conversations and discussions, especially when people are on opposite sides of things. But when they're on opposite sides of things in the way where they are listening and willing to change and understand and adapt as they hear new information. Yeah, it didn't take long to understand that you see the world in a way that many do not. Call it what you will, you have a penchant for paying attention to the details. Yeah, and you enjoy sharing to just enjoy people. Granted, you're picky and should be about the people you let into your life. You need to cultivate relationships with positive and happy people and not try to run off saving all the broken ones. Yeah, that whole kind of like, you can lead a horse to water. Like, all you can do is your best, and people are living their own life. They're on their own journey. They just have to figure it out in their own time. And also like that whole kind of understanding that like it is their own time. Like if they're not there yet, they're not there yet, but it's their life to do. And kind of, yeah, because I've definitely been that person where you get stuck trying to help someone and you're not understanding why it's not working, and it's like, oh no, what else can I do? And it's like, there's nothing else you can do. They got to figure it out themselves. But it doesn't mean it's not worth trying. It doesn't mean it's not worth doing everything you can do. But yeah, letting people move out of your life if they're not serving your own mental state. And finding new ones. Because also, yeah, if you keep a bunch of people in your life who are not able to contribute, to a relationship, you don't leave any space for new relationships. Yeah, building yourself up, loving yourself, and working on your own happiness and joy is the best you that you can present to others. Exactly, yeah, you got to be in the right place too. You can't try to fix people if you're you can't expect to be able to fix everyone if you haven't worked on yourself. Okay, I've got the 2 files downloaded. Let's compress them. Let's see how large they are, first of all, I guess. Yeah, the complete needs to be, I think, under a gigabyte. And those are both larger than that, so let's compress them. Yeah, you think you understand why so many people want to fix others, because it's a lot easier to talk about a solution for another person than it is to implement one in your own life to fix your own issues. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what I'm struggling with right now. It's very easy to diagnose the problem and then just not do it. And it's much easier when it's not even you who has to do it. You can diagnose other people's problems, give them ideas and solutions and fixes and all that. It's so easy. So obviously this is wrong. You should try this. No effort involved there. Yeah, and it's hard for people to self-reflect and accept that they have problems that need fixing. Yeah, exactly, because when you're at that stage where it's like everything's good enough, fixing things hurts. It's hard, and it takes a lot of time and effort, and oftentimes it hurts. And oftentimes your brain won't tell you what the hell is wrong. It's just going to tell you it's not going to do that thing. And it's like, that's cool, brain. That's cool. Let's get in there again. Okay, what do I need? I need a private window so that it doesn't lock me out of doing too many things. I love PDF.com. Compress PDF. Alright, off it goes. I used to think there'd be one good solution for a given problem, but the longer you live, the more you understand how clever you think of your own solutions to a problem, regardless of whether it really is effective. And there are often so many solutions to problems. And when people solve it another way that you didn't see or think of, good on them. Yeah, exactly. Like, you can never... Yeah, definitely when I was younger, it would be like, this is the only right way to do this. And it's like, really, there's a lot of different ways this could be done. A lot of different ways this could be handled, and probably there's some better ways that are more appropriate to the other person, especially if you're dealing with other people's problems. Like, the best way for you is maybe not the best way for them, even if it might work, technically. Yeah, when you're young, you can just be so excited to know something and then try to share it. But you don't necessarily see how narrow the thinking is in the moment. Yeah, and you don't understand that just because you thought of it and you think it's the best idea ever, that maybe there's other stuff going on for them. Or their values are different. Like, so many arguments and discussions come down to values differences, where it's like, well, actually what you value is not what they value, and that's okay, but it means they're going to handle it differently. Yeah, you often preface your advice with, this is just how I see it, or in my opinion, or take it for what it is, right? See, I had to learn how to do that verbally, because in my head, I take everything everyone says, including myself, with, in my opinion, at the beginning of it. And so I just assume everyone else also takes everything everyone says with that caveat, with that like disclaimer at the front, and then I had to consciously learn to verbally state that so that people didn't get upset. It's like, obviously it's in your opinion, it's coming out of your mouth. I don't expect you to take it as gospel, I just think you should listen to my idea, that's all, and I'll listen to yours. If it's useful, great. If it isn't, no worries. Exactly. Alright, these things are uploading and they gotta compress, but it is doing its thing. It is doing the thing. Yeah, you can have 100 people witness the same event and you get 100 different interpretations of it and what it meant to them. Exactly. Like, the fact that also our brains are super unreliable in terms of memory, like, you have to be really careful with that, because people will actively have experienced things very differently, and you just can't assume it's all the same to everyone just because you lived through the same thing. What happens in front of you that doesn't scare you but scares someone else, and it can be a drastically different response. Exactly. Okay, this file. Oh, compressing, good. Okay, might take a few minutes. Yeah, I believe you. I believe you. Yeah, and like, obviously, depending on what experiences people have had before, like, have they been in this, has this turned into a dangerous situation for them in the past? Well, obviously, it's going to feel more dangerous. Has it never been a dangerous situation? They've only ever been surrounded by people who, you know, had their best interests at heart. Okay, they're probably not going to think it's very dangerous. Oh, how are we doing? How are we doing? Yes. Okay, it's done. Open file. Good. Oh, those are good sizes. I like those. Okay, extract zip file. Now let's combine them. Janos, how's it going? You finally had some rain last night. We're back to sunshine. Oh, excellent. Yeah, it's been a beautiful week this week here. It's been sunny and not too windy, so I've been pleased with it. Sarkonis, but you love sharing your experiences or thoughts as long as the people you share them with are mature enough to understand that they're filtered through the lens you view life. Exactly, and I think most adults, like, that's kind of the default, right? And you accept that others don't necessarily see things your way. Right, and yeah, if you have a mature, responsible people who can, like, discuss different opinions and different experiences, it's always a good thing. Okay, merge PDF, combine. Good old I love PDF.com, you're so great. Okay, that one and that one. Merge. You know, a few too many adults who love to hear themselves talk and don't like to be wrong. I mean, I think everyone loves to hear themselves talk. I mean, coming from someone who loves to hear herself talk. So take that with a grain of salt. But I think a lot of people like to, you know, express their feelings and their views and their thoughts. That's why we're a social species. But yeah, it's so important to be able to also prioritize and value hearing other people's thoughts, because otherwise you just go in circles. You need to be able to hear new views. Because otherwise, how will you ever know when you're wrong? How will you ever get better? Yeah, if you take a legitimate interest in what people have to say, you build a stronger connection. Exactly. I feel like that's the kind of, like, advice that's, like, really easy to say but really hard to, like, know the difference too, right? Or even, like, because you can be like, well, of course I'm interested, like, I'm really, you know, like, I think this is super cool and it's interesting, but then being able to, like, actually ask the right questions or, like, continue that conversation in a way where the other person understands that you are interested is maybe sometimes easier said than done. Where it's like, no, I'm actually really interested. Please keep going. Like, you're not boring me at all. Like, yeah, please. And that's a skill I have to consciously work on. You're okay. You're planning on booking a flight to Vienna in the next few days. Not sure about the dates, but you'd like to be there for New Year's Eve. Oh, that'd be fun for New Year's parties. You like to assure people. Exactly, right? Oh, goody. Okay, the compressed file is done. Save file. Complete compressed. Done. Okay, and it's a good size. All right, let's upload it. Upload new manuscript. Complete compressed. There we go. Now that's going to take even longer. KDP takes forever to upload. I've also, this is kind of a little bit out of left field, but I've been so aggravated with all of this. I think these memes go around a lot in my social circle because I'm friends with a lot of people who are very, like, nerds or, like, maybe socially introverted and, like, maybe kind of on that ADHD autism kind of side of the world, right, spectrum. So I get a lot of people posting memes that are things like, I just learned that you're never supposed to talk about yourself in a conversation, and, like, you're only supposed to ask questions, or, like, you're only supposed to do this, that, or the other thing for a normal conversation. And it's like, or when someone shares something that happened to them, you're never supposed to also explain that you've had a similar experience. Like, that's not how it works. That's not how actual normal people converse. What you're not supposed to do is make it all about you. But you're allowed to also discuss that, yes, you have had some similar experiences and this is what you thought and how it affected you and that kind of stuff. It's just like, people take like the advice, like, you know, if someone's going through something really serious and traumatic, don't start talking about yourself. Like, yeah, that's good advice, but it doesn't mean you never get to share that also you've had a similar experience. And I find all these people who've never had any sort of advice on this or any sort of like knowledge of how to have these conversations end up taking like one piece of advice and just like extrapolating it into this like insane rule where it's like, no, actually normal people also want to hear your stories too. They also want to know what's going on with you. If you are only listening, they're going to think that's weird too. Like, if all you do is just ask questions about them, they're going to think that's weird too. They want to know, if they're a normal person, they want to have a normal conversation and sharing. Exactly. Not just have you only ask about them. And like, yeah, when someone's going through a really, really tough time or something's really big, then that's a moment. But that's not every moment. That might be one moment where, yeah, just focus on them for the night. But if that's every night, that's not a healthy relationship, and that's not a normal conversation either. Timing is everything in conversation. A good conversation is like a good dance with a partner. Yeah, sharing is bonding. Exactly. Hi, you seem fairly normal. Perhaps your friends have a great deal to learn from just observing you. Haha, I seem fairly normal, but it is all educated. It is all like intentional. Everything I do, I learned how to do because I did not naturally have easy time socially. But what was the one I saw most recently? It was something like, and this was kind of interesting. It was talking about how ADHD people frequently want to have a conversation where they just talk about whatever it is they're interested in until someone else pipes in with something they're interested in, whether it's semi-related or not related at all. And that's fine. If you get two ADHD people, they're totally fine with having a conversation like that because they're like, when you're comfortable, you'll jump in. And I'm not gonna... And it's kind of the opposite idea of like, well, I'll ask you a question so that you get to share, which is the more neurotypical way of conversing, where it's like, I say something, then I ask a question, then you answer, you say something, then you ask a question. It bounces back and forth. Whereas this person was talking about how frequently with comfortable ADD people together, one person will just keep going. And then when someone else starts up, they'll just start going. And there's no like point where they're trying to like lob the ball back and forth and keep it really balanced. It's like, no, if they have something to say, they'll jump in, right? I wouldn't want to put them on the spot by asking them a specific question. Like I would be uncomfortable if they started asking me questions. So I'll just keep talking until they start talking. I'm like, that's also fine. Like that's an entirely, totally like reasonable way of having a conversation too. You don't have to not do that. But if that's the only way you converse, yeah, you're probably going to start offending people who really like the conversation question technique. And it's like, you should be able to do both. You should have the, build both of those skills. And people who only like the conversation question technique should also get comfortable with learning how to do the other style, like where someone just really wants to like talk about something and then feel comfortable being like, oh yeah, I also want to say something about whatever. And it's like, I also hate it when the advice only goes one way, where it's like, this is what you're doing wrong. And it's like, it's not wrong. That's a totally valid way of having a conversation. But if that's the only way you can have a conversation, you're going to limit who you can have conversations with. So I think a lot of advice needs to be more nuanced in that respect. Now, the most difficult thing for you has been keeping your mouth shut when people are complaining about a problem. You're going to listen and get invested. My mind goes immediately to solutions. You're a problem solver. Some people just want to vent and want you to listen. Yeah, everyone in my life is fully aware that if they have a problem and they just want to vent, they have to make it exceedingly clear in advance. Hey, I just want to rant. I do not want to deal with solutions or advice or options right now. And then I can stop. Then I can be like, okay, I'm still going to think of it all, but I can hold myself back. But if they don't, yeah, you're going to get my thoughts on it. You're going to get opinions and advice. And if you don't like that, tell me in advance. Otherwise, you're getting it. And that's something that's so integral to me that it's not even one of those things where I try to downgraded a little with people I've newly met, like new friends and acquaintances, but it's one of those things where it's so integral to who I am that there's no point pretending that I don't do that with a new person. It's like, it's gonna come up. You have to like be willing to deal with me as someone who does that, or we're not gonna be friends anyways. And like I said, like when it's important, like when there's something really big, really dramatic, really important, and you just need to emotion it out, I can be there for that. But I need to know in advance if that's what you are asking for. You've spent the greater part of your life talking, doing very well leading conversations, and you can assault a person with a barrage of questions to keep them busy. The listening part's a work in progress, and something you've spent more time and effort on the last decade or so. That's really good. The tradition in Austria for New Year's Eve is to buy a lucky charm to have good luck for the coming year. The vendors sell all lucky charms just before New Year's Eve, and your favorite lucky charm is the ladybug. That's so cute! I love that. I love all those little traditions for different places. I think if you pay attention to what the person is saying, you can see when they have something to share. Like, pay attention to the cues, right? Exactly. Right? And that's kind of part of the whole, that balance between the two styles, where it's like, when you can tell someone's ready to jump in and being like, you know, like, what did you think about this? Or how did that, you know, did that happen to you? Or whatever, right? Versus putting, you know, it can be uncomfortable the other way when you have someone who's not ready to be put on the spot, being like, well, and what is your opinion on that? It's like, oh God, I don't know. I was busy still processing what you said earlier. So I think I really like it when people can understand that both many ways are healthy, and it just has to be integrated. Yeah, you have to be blunt. You have to tell you that you're not looking for a solution. And see, like for me, I'm pretty much always looking for a solution. So it rarely goes the other way. Hey, JP Study Time, how's it going? Who does what? Someone who does that? Trying to figure out where the conversation was there. We're talking about the differences between people's communication styles, basically. Things like people who really like to have a conversation where everyone says a thing, asks a question, says a thing, asks a question, and bounces back and forth, versus people who really like to just go off and wait for someone else to jump in with whatever they're going to talk about, and kind of how you can balance those two conversational styles. But one of them doesn't have to be the right style, and one of them doesn't have to be the wrong style. You have a friend, when you talk to her, you really need to give her a good ear. You can tell in the past she came from a place of not being heard, and now that she's approaching middle of life, it's important for her to share what she's accumulated, and it just makes her day if you listen to her. It makes most people's day if you listen to them. You just grin and let her go when she winds herself up, right? And the hilarious part is, you're pretty much opposites on almost everything. So when she's telling you about the virtues of her raw vegan diet, you're sitting there thinking about it, eating a cheeseburger. But you respect each other, listen to each other, and it works out great because you know you can share anything and the other will listen. Exactly, right? Yeah, I love that when you can kind of have, when you can lean into that style of conversation where someone just really wants to talk about something. It's like, that's cool. And then you can be like, oh, here's a whole other style of conversation where I should really actively think about asking questions, and think about which people I meet I should focus that style on. How's this file doing? Is it uploaded yet? No? Oh, it's processing. Okay, it's uploaded, but it's processing. That's a good step. And then it has to reprocess the cover too. But it's coming along. Good, that takes forever. Okay, I think we did that today. That's good. What else did I need to get done today? Oh, good, and that's saved in the right folder. That's one good thing about the Canva change. I was saying they've changed their copy and resize feature, but now when you copy and resize, it saves it to the same folder the original file was in instead of no folder at all. And that's something I thought it should have done this whole time. I was actually really aggravated that when you copy a file, the new copy is just floating free. And it's like, the original was in a folder. Why wouldn't the copies also go in that folder? Like, wouldn't that make sense? Yes, it would. Yes, it would, Canva. Thank you for getting there. You were saying that's something that's so integral to who I am that it doesn't make sense to pretend not to do that because I'm someone who does do that. So what? You're a person who does what? I'm a person who, when someone is talking about a problem they have, I'm going to give them advice unless they explicitly tell me at the beginning, like, hey, I just need to rant about this emotionally. I'm not looking for advice. Please don't do that. Because I can stop if someone tells me, please don't do that. But otherwise, it's so integral to how I converse and think about people and the things they say and do in their lives and my friends, that there's no point in me pretending to be someone who's like, oh yeah, just rant. I'm not going to give any advice, because it's going to come out. And yeah, the people in my life generally are aware of that and expect that. And like I said, if they need a moment where that doesn't happen, they can get it. But pretending to not be that person is not going to get any of us anywhere. Bareback needs sustenance. Yeah, you're the same. You think some people really don't like it. Yes, exactly. And that's the thing. Like, some people, and that's kind of where I'm at, where it's like, if you're the type of person who absolutely can't handle that at any level, like, we're probably not going to be best friends, because like, that's how I naturally engage in discussion with people. And if you're the type of person who can't handle that kind of discussion at all, we're probably just not that compatible. So like, there's no point pretending. Like, we just need to figure that out right away, and we can still be friends, but maybe we're just not going to be best friends. Right? Like, we're probably still acquaintances. Maybe we still, have fun and hang out, and like, it's great. And maybe we're very specific about what we do together, or how we hang out, or all that stuff. But yeah. Hot Pocket and broccoli at 6 a.m. Breakfast of champions. You did a peer coaching course. It was about being a conversational partner who guides the other person so they can introspect and solve their own problems. Oh, that sounds so interesting. Do you remember, like, did you do that online, or did you do that like at a school or something? Give me more information. That sounds so cool. That sounds very interesting, because that's what I love doing. Yeah, I think you only have so much time in your life for a handful of good friends as it is, so it pays to be choosy. That's kind of my point, right? Like, I could put on this whole effort and show of being this different personality type, but the people I'm going to attract with that are not the people I want to spend time with anyways. I don't want to spend my time having to edit, being not unable to like give my thoughts and understanding of their situation. I don't want to be in that relationship, so there's no point in actively pursuing it, given the fact that yes, I can do that for someone who is asking for it. I also hate those people who are like, I could never just, I'm trying to say this without being like offensive. Like the people who are like, oh, you if you can't take my advice, you should, like, you're stupid, or like you should whatever. And it's like, no, sometimes people just really can't handle it at that moment, and you also need to be the type of person who can respect that. So with that in mind, by default, I like people who can handle it. The type of people who are like, well, I'm like blunt honesty and I'm like radical honesty, and it's like, actually, you're kind of just a dick. There's a difference. If it isn't a good fit, don't waste each other's time. And you can certainly be kind and civil. You have a craving for a root beer right now. I haven't had root beer in ages because I've been in Europe. They had a framework and it was fantastic. You liked it because it focused on not jumping to giving advice, but rather asking the right questions and challenging the other person to do real introspection. Well, and that's also the biggest thing too, is that if you give advice to someone, if you can phrase, like Socratic method, right? If you can phrase it in a way where they think, and not even where they think, because that sounds like you're trying to manipulate them, but you're not. You're trying to get them to actively come to their own conclusions and see things in a different way. If you can get them to see it in a different way, and they honestly do be like, oh, I should try X, Y, and Z, and it's like, you should try X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? Like, it's so much more effective, and it's more natural too, because it's not like they're just learning something from you. They're learning something from themselves. You're just helping them get there. You know a fair few people who you met, and within minutes, you know they're going to argue about everything with you. I mean, that's me. It was a course at school, but you met online because of COVID. Ah. Did you have like a textbook, or was it all like just like lectures and video courses and stuff? Because I'd be super interested to educating myself more on that exact thing, that exact technique or style or conversation way of conversing. Yeah, agreed. Don't think bragging about being blunt and honest is something worth bragging about. Exactly, because most of the people who do it, what they really mean is they're mean. Yeah, it's like saying I can easily disagree with you and tear you down. Like, duh. Yeah, we all could. Like, how about tact and humility? Exactly. Yeah, and so when I say I'm the type of person who you can tell within minutes that I'm going to argue about everything with you, hopefully, and this, you know, your mileage may vary, but hopefully in a tactful and open and interested way, rather than a you're stupid and dumb and only listen to me, I'm right way. What else do we need to get done before we're almost finished here? Okay, let's do that. Okay. It's been a good discussion though. I like this kind of stuff. Yeah, it's also about acknowledging that people don't necessarily know what they want. So before advising, it's also important to make sure people know what they really want. That's the other thing too. It's that just because they have a problem and you would solve it one way, it doesn't mean that your goals are even the same. So like really clarifying what their goals are, like what they want different, what they want to change, what they want to happen before giving advice, so that it actually gets them where they want to go. Not just where you would want to go in that situation. Yeah, helping them find the right terminology and conceptual understanding for their struggle so they can address it. Yes, agreed. What else do you need to get done? Finish your birdseed. You're right. I do need to finish this little cannoli. It's not actually birdseed for anyone who wasn't here an hour ago. Didn't have a textbook, it was a course, but not a course for credit. But you had group meetings every few weeks and weekly meetings with a coaching partner where you could coach each other and then give feedback. Oh, I love that. So you get to actively practice what it was you were trying to learn. Yes. I'm going to run an ad here. I'm not going anywhere. Run those ads. Who knows? One may finally convince you to buy something. To date, none ever have. Yeah, I feel that. And I forgot the previewer, once they're uploaded, can take forever too. Oh, we're getting it done though.
Yo.
Alright, let's put it on break. I'm jealous of how nice the day is. Looks like it'll be overcast where you are. Yeah, I'm really happy with the weather this week. It was like, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, I was complaining about how windy it was and how I was really mad that I'd wanted a long fall, like a warm summer fall. And I'm like, it's too windy, it's useless, it's gonna be windy all fall. But it's actually been really peaceful and gentle and just like nice weather. So I'm really hoping it holds out for a while because it's just exactly the weather I wanted. Do you take walks there often? Yes. So frequently just because I don't have a car here. So basically everywhere I go, I'm taking transit or walking. So I end up walking around this whole town a lot. And then near me there's like a park and kind of some other stuff. So I end up walking all over. Especially when the weather's like this. Walking keeps you healthy. Walking is the most like simple, basic, consistent driver of overall health. People who go for a walk every day are far and above healthier than people who don't, as a general rule. So I highly recommend it. Yeah, I mean, if you can do something more like running, exercise, gym, sports, whatever, that's great too. But if all you can do is just go for a walk every day, go for a walk every day. Count that as your exercise, count that as your physical activity, and it's enough. You do it for health. You know it's better to move than sit. Exactly. Keep your body strong, active, flexible. You do enough sitting down with work, right? I feel that. I feel that. Oh, there's a crow eating the birdseed. He flew away when I looked at him, but she was there. You've never been flexible, but you dream of being it one day. Strong, sure, fast, yes, but flexible like a board. Well, I mean, YouTube, obviously, yoga, stretching courses, gymnastics. Yeah, whenever you're ready to prioritize it, you can absolutely make it a thing. It's like anything else, you just gotta be consistent. All the things you do not do. Right? Well, even stuff like dance or some martial arts and stuff can help with flexibility too, right? Yeah, flexibility keeps you safer in the long run, less injuries, 100%. Yeah, flexibility and muscle strength. And people get back injuries, but it's because they don't use their back muscles ever. Like, and obviously once you have an injury, it's much harder to do, but like you have to keep your back muscles strong, otherwise you hurt them and then you're screwed. It's so important to keep all those little balance muscles and all those flexibility muscles and keep everything working. Yeah, you've lifted weights since you were a teenager, but being male, you have a leg up on muscle mass. And also, but that's the thing, sometimes people forget all the little muscles, right? They'll be like, oh, I'm so strong, and like, you know, I can do pull-ups, or I can do leg presses, or whatever, and it's like, what about all those other weird little muscles? That's why sports are really good too, right? Like I love snowboarding for balance muscles because it works your abs, it works your back, it works all of your interesting, like skiing, snowboarding, surfing, all those balance sports really keep all the micro muscles that are really hard to target, but really important. Yeah, it's a flexibility you worry about. You can start doing yoga on YouTube. It's free. Played a lot of sports growing up. These days it's more like frisbee golf. Frisbee golf's a good one too though, because that's like running and jumping and grabbing and stuff, so anything that makes you move unpredictably is good. Because like compared to just like running, you know, jogging, whatever, like if you're running to catch something, you move more randomly, you use all those weird little balance muscles. But yeah, if you're doing something like frisbee golf, that's a great one to stretch out for beforehand and after. You drop things each day, you get good workouts picking it all up. Well, and there's the other place people hurt their back. Make sure you're picking things up by bending with your knees, not bending at your back and at your hips. Crouch down, don't lean over. People wonder why their backs hurt and they do everything wrong. When you were younger, you did not bend with your knees, and you do in fact pay for it later. Hi, Pika, how are you today? What are you up to? But lovely weather. How's it going? It's going great. We're almost finished for today. We did some editing. We did some publishing. So yeah, it's been good. And we had a cool discussion about what were we discussing? We were discussing conversation styles and giving advice and something else. All good stuff, all interesting stuff. You're doing good. What are you up to? Editing YouTube. Ah. Very good. What are you putting up on YouTube? Feel free to, if you have a YouTube channel, feel free to put a link in the chat. What am I editing? No, I was doing some more editing for my day job, which is like kind of science, academic research and publishing. So, all that sort of stuff. Mostly research articles. But I'm trying to get into more freelance work, so if you know anyone who needs an editor for book, novel, nonfiction, publishing, science, students, dissertations, research, send them my way. So it's not my articles, it's I just edit them for authors, for other people. So, and they publish all over, all different types of science journals and everything. So, all over the science world. And other places too, a couple books and mostly nonfiction, but I'd like to get into more editing fiction. I really enjoy editing fiction. So if there's any authors out there who need an editor, hit me up. 6:30, time for some lifting and stretches. Yeah, do your stretches, do some yoga. And a shower, and then doing what you're trying to do, get the work done. It was very nice talking with you. Thanks for being around. I appreciate the conversation. Yeah, I'm excited because I'm going to finish up in 3 minutes here and then go into town and do something. Yeah, it is really neat to get to read about new science. Anything cool passed through interesting? Not anything good lately because it's been really slow, which is one of the reasons I'm looking for freelance work, because my day job is slow right now and not good. You have a safe day and peaceful one as well, Strakonis. I'm trying to think what's the most interesting one I've seen recently, though. Again, nothing's popping up in my brain. I'll come up with something eventually. There's been a lot of ones on like AI photo recognition lately, so that's been a popular subject, and so just kind of how those algorithms work and how they different techniques for a computer brain to recognize what's going on in an image, and it's all very interesting. How well different algorithms do, and which ones are better than others, and which ones are terrible. You're looking at the stable diffusion. You may find it interesting. Go on. The most recent thing I found interesting recently is I was trying to really look at what the difference between the mechanism of action, and this is my own personal research, mechanism of action for methylphenidate versus dextroamphetamine was. And so I knew they work similarly but not the same, because obviously they have different effects. And yeah, kind of as I'd expected, as I'd predicted, or had heard about before but hadn't really looked into, dextrodrone is good at both producing more dopamine and preventing reuptake, whereas methylphenidate is mostly just good at preventing reuptake, so it's not as effective. And so while they're both stimulants, they work differently, and it's like, just kind of the details between those two are very interesting to me, so I'm going to be looking into that a bit more. Alright, we are all done for the day. Let me finish up this counter here. We'll update that to 2, and we're going to go do a raid. So let's put our raid message on. Kind of like that bot where you put a prompt and it generates an image. Okay, so yeah, like kind of AI images and kind of production of that. Just talking with your cousin in Vienna, and he had an excellent price for your pension room in Vienna for your trip, and now you're going to be there for 34 days in Austria. Oh, that'd be so exciting. But instead of a word, it takes an image as an output. Okay, so yeah, like image adjustments, where it kind of combines things or like adjusts them, filters them. Or it just takes the image and then comes up with an entirely new image based on it. Alright, we're gonna raid Limonify, because we haven't raided her in a while, and she's super cool. Yeah, I feel like it's been more recent, but I think it's been like a year since we've raided her, so... maybe not? Yeah, it has. Alright, let's go. I haven't tried it, but it's quite popular with the designer UI. UX front end and tech folks, I don't know much, but I see it a lot. Yeah, I feel like that's one of those things that builds popularity really fast. Alright, off we go on our raid. Okay, thanks everyone who hung out today. I hope you enjoyed the stream. I hope you got some work done, or you just got to chill along with the music and had some interesting discussions. I will see you guys all later. I do want to do art club this week because I missed it last week and I felt sad about that, but it's been busy with my guest here and my friend, so we're gonna give that a try. And yeah, if you like the channel, give a follow, give a sub. We appreciate everyone, and we're having a great time. We're going to be doing more co-working, more creative streams, lots of cool stuff. So bye everyone for now. I'm going to go enjoy this beautiful sunshine. Bye.